food fans, it's Karen Ricks, head chef here at our kitchen classroom, and I am super excited to be back to share with you some amazing, super simple recipes that you can make right in your kitchen classroom that can help to stimulate your wonderful, beautiful, natural hair growth journey. Now, if you're with us last week, you had a chance to share in the beautiful story that is My Hair is a Garden. And wasn't that a beautiful, beautiful book? I wish that I had had access to a book like that when I was growing up. Or even when I started my natural hair journey just over a decade ago. What was really helpful to me was stumbling onto the wide world of YouTube and the amazing videos of some natural hair bloggers who helped me to learn that my hair was a garden, that reinforced this crazy notion that I had that I didn't have to chemically straighten my hair. I didn't have to hurt or injure or burn myself to make my hair into something other than what it was. That helped me to appreciate the beauty and the wonder that was this miracle. My hair, the way it naturally grows out of my head. And as a part of this natural hair journey, of course, I had to learn how to not just love my hair and play with my hair, but of course to play with my food. Having lived outside the United States for so long, I couldn't do what a lot of people tend to do, especially getting started on a natural or a hair care journey for natural hair, which is going crazy with commercially available products because, well, let's just say they're not all available in all of the different countries around the world where we have lived. But that's the beauty of playing with your food. I am going to share a couple of very simple hair recipes that I have been using for over a decade that have not only stimulated my natural hair growth, but are also easily available to you, wherever you are in the world. Are you ready to see? All right, come on down and let's get started. The first thing that we're going to be making here is some tea. So what I have here in this pot, you can see the steam coming out. I just turned this off. This is water that had just come up to a boil, okay? And what we're going to add to this water is a little bit of rosemary. And these are just little petals, well, the little stem-like leaves that come off of the rosemary bush. Now, rosemary is an herb that is incredibly stimulating. And all I'm doing, because these are dry, is crushing them a little bit to help release the natural oils that are in this. And if you've got some dried rosemary, whether this is something that you really pluck off of the stem or that you get out of a jar that's sold in the store, the dried rosemary is going to release its natural oils when you break up those little pieces. So just press them into between your fingertips, and you'll know that you've done it right when you start to smell that wonderful aroma of rosemary. Oh, that just smells amazing. And what I'm going to do is use this to make a tea. This is a very stimulating tea. I've got about a tablespoon for a cup of water, and all I'm going to do is swirl this around, and we're just going to let it steep, just like you would any other tea. Now, I am going to add one more thing to this stimulating tea, and that is apple cider vinegar, okay? Now, you want to get the best quality apple cider vinegar that you can. You can see that what's in here is a little bit cloudy, okay? This is a raw apple cider vinegar. It's actually made with real apples, and it was cloudy with the mother. So you know that it came from real apples, that it hasn't been contaminated with a lot of pesticides or chemicals or anything that you don't want on your hair or in your body. And it has a very sharp, smell, okay? And again, this is just about a tablespoon, and I'm gonna put that in there, and then I'm just gonna let this steep. And all I'm gonna do is set this aside to steep for 5 or 10 minutes. Then I'm gonna strain off the rosemary and put it into a spray bottle. Now, the cool thing about this particular recipe is that you can use it however you like. I like to use this as a stimulating rinse after a hair wash. The wonderful properties in the rosemary and the apple cider vinegar help to stimulate the scalp, and that combined with a wonderful little massage make a nice stimulating rinse that will help your scalp feel refreshed and renewed and ready to grow lots more healthy hair. You can also use it as a moisturizing spritz, although when I do that, I use just the herbal tea, sometimes a combination of sage and rosemary too, but leave out the apple cider vinegar if you plan to leave it on your hair, because the apple cider vinegar is something that you want to rinse out, okay? And that's it for either a stimulating rinse or a wonderful moisturizing spritzer. Now I've got one more recipe I promised you, and this one is even more simple. It's rice water. And as I bet you can guess, the ingredients are rice and water. Now you can do this with any kind of rice, and you want to use, again, the best water that you can find. I have poured in some rice, and I'm actually going to use this to eat. And I've just covered it with water and let it sit and soak for about 30 minutes. Now, I do this when I'm cooking rice anyway, and you should be rinsing your rice. For most rice cooking recipes, let me repeat that one more time. Please, please, please rinse your rice. The starches that are on there are going to make it super, super sticky. And normally, again, for most recipes that I tend to prepare, you don't want that sticky starch on there. But you don't have to throw it out. And that's what makes this such a wonderfully simple recipe. It's literally just rice that has been soaking in water. And all I'm going to do is pour it off. Now, this very simple mixture you can use immediately. The starch that's been extracted, along with the other vitamins and minerals in the rice that are good and healthy for your eating, also make a wonderful hair rinse. Okay, and there isn't a lot of academic research, but there's tons of anecdotal evidence, especially in Asia, that shows that the rice is really helpful for stimulating hair growth and also for just helping to release and detangle and improve the luster and shine of your hair. Now, one of the things that I like about super simple recipes like this is that it is completely natural. When you're making hair recipes like this, you know exactly what is going into it. You can play with this yourself and find out if this is helpful and if it feels good in your hair. And it's also 100% safe. Even while I was playing and experimenting with how to take care of my natural hair when I had an infant and a toddler roaming around in my kitchen, in my shower or bathtub, I did not have any problems knowing that my child could get into my hair products and could eat or drink them without any worries of toxicity and poisoning and death. And let me tell you, the stuff that I used to use in my hair, there was that risk, but no more. I love my hair. And that's not something that I've been able to say for the entirety of my life. In fact, for most of my life. Isn't that sad? But I can, and I do say it proudly now, I love my natural hair. And I have enjoyed this natural hair journey. I continue to enjoy my natural hair journey because I get to play with my hair and play with my food. And it is delicious fun. What recipes do you use on your natural hair journey. I would love to hear from you. Leave me a note in the comments, and if you haven't already, make sure that you join me for that beautiful read along that we did for My Hair is a Garden. That book has some wonderful suggestions. Again, lots of things that I didn't know when I was starting my natural hair journey. All about how different techniques than what you might see on TV or read about in magazines can be really helpful for taking care of natural hair, curly hair, hair that is beautiful in its own right, but maybe doesn't get shown all the love. There are some different recipes in the back of that book too, in addition to those hair care techniques. And I didn't share those with you specifically because I want you to go out and get your own copy. It's a beautiful book with wonderful illustrations and some delightful techniques that you will be happy to have in your arsenal, in your kitchen classroom. I can't wait to see you in our next video. Take care, everybody.